Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all the members of the press who've chosen to be here with us today. I'm Lloyd Smucker. As I think many of you know, I have the honor and privilege of representing the 11th District in Congress, which includes about 60% of York County and all of Lancaster County. And we have a lot of state and elected officials here with us today. From both counties, and I'm going to introduce them. We have Majority Caucus Chair, State Senator from the 28th District, Kristin Phillips-Hill. You're going to be hearing from her in a little while. She's been an early leader in opposing this project that we'll be talking about today, and we appreciate her leadership on that. We have State Senator Chris Gebhard of the 48th Senatorial District. We have State Representative Mindy Fee of the 37th District in Lancaster, Brett Miller, 41st District, Keith Greiner of the 43rd, Joe Dorsey is Joe of the 47th District in York County, Dawn Kiefer of the 92nd District, Mike Jones of the 93rd, Wendy Fink of the 94th. We'll be hearing from her in a little while as well. Mike Sterla, Lancaster County's 96th District, Steve Mentzer of the 97th, Tom Jones of the 98th, there's Tom. We have Brian Cutler of the 100th District, who you all know is also the minority leader in Harrisburg. We appreciate him being here. Kate Plunk of the 169th, and Minority Appropriations Chair Seth Grove of the 196th District in York County. Where's Seth is here? There he is. He's small Seth is hiding there in the corner. So. Yeah. And I'm really pleased. We're also fortunate to have 5 of our 6 county commissioners here with us from both counties. From York County, we have President Commissioner Julie Wheeler. You'll be hearing from her. We have Commissioner Doug Hoke, who was standing back here. And then from Lancaster County, we have President Commissioner Josh Parsons, Ray DiAgostino, and I think Alice Yoder was, she'll be joining us in a little while. And by the way, we have Kent Hefner, who is chairman of the Chancellor Township Board of Supervisors, here with us as well. It's an impressive group of folks, and I'll tell you, we'll be presenting a letter to FERC today that all of these individuals have already or will be signing on to, and I believe every other legislator and commissioner who have not been able to be here will be signing on. So this will be unanimous opposition to this project from all of the state elected officials in both counties and all of the commissioners in both counties as well. I mentioned it's an honor to represent this district. This district is sort of divided, built around the Susquehanna River and the Susquehanna River corridor. People talk about that river as a divide between the two counties. I've found in my roles representing the 11th, that's not the case. In fact, the counties share values. The people in both counties are very similar. I think it's a tremendous privilege to be able to represent both York and Lancaster County, but there's so much more that brings the counties together than there is that divides us, and I think the river itself unites both counties in a way that nothing else really can. And we as elected officials representing both counties stand united here today to announce our opposition to the preliminary permit application submitted to FERC, the Federal Energy Regulation Commission, for proposed construction of a hydroelectric pump storage facility at Cuffs Run, proposed by York Energy Storage LLC. And as I said, all of the elected officials here are signing on to a letter of opposition that will be going to FERC in the next day or so. I don't know that there's ever been something like this. I think this is somewhat unprecedented to literally have all of the elected officials at the state level and the county commissioners together in opposition to a project like this. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the work that has been done to oppose this. I mentioned some of those who have done that work leading to now. And then I'm very grateful, for many different reasons. I think it's important we say no to this project. It would uproot families, it would impact preserved farms, and it would damage the natural beauty that so many of us have worked so hard to preserve along the Susquehanna River. And so I was very grateful. I called, I think personally, each individual who's here today, not knowing what kind of response we would get. And unequivocally, every one of them said immediately, absolutely, this is the right thing to do. This is the wrong thing for our community. So we're happy to stand together, and so I'm really grateful for that. Where we are, the FERC will be receiving public comments about the project for a 60-day period. And our comment here as elected officials representing our community is that we believe this permit application should be denied. Again, that's from everyone here, and I'd like to thank everyone for joining us in that. So we'll be hearing from a number of speakers. Of course, we have a lot of elected officials here. Every one of them could add to our thoughts about this project, and it'd be great to hear from all of them. We don't obviously have time for that, so what we thought we would do, and we'll give an opportunity for anyone who would like to speak, but we've specifically asked the president commissioners from each county to speak, and then also the elected officials in whose district, the district they represent, this project actually sits. So that's what we'll be doing today. So our first speaker this morning is doing an incredible job leading York County's government, and so join me in welcoming President Commissioner Julie Wheeler to offer a few comments.
Thank you, Congressman Smucker. I'm delighted to join my colleagues today, enveloped in the outdoor beauty of our county, embraced by the Susquehanna River. The Susquehanna has a rich and varied history. It plays a considerable role in the outdoor economy of our region. Both Lancaster and York counties benefit tremendously as outdoor enthusiasts from across the country and across the counties utilize the many outdoor assets and amenities of the natural landscape. Based upon a recent economic impact report by the York County Economic Alliance, 5,240 York County residents work in the outdoor economy. Jobs that generate $135 million in wages and are among the largest growth opportunities, largely a result of our outdoor amenities and the river. The county's 10-year economic action plan specifically calls out strategies to further leverage these economic opportunities that are a competitive advantage, an advantage that I would prefer to leverage and not jeopardize. Beyond recreation, given that the river is too shallow to be used for navigation, it's been developed for other uses, mostly, significantly, as an energy producer. There are currently 3 power generating dams on the lower Susquehanna: York Haven Hydro Station, Safe Harbor, and Holtwood, cumulatively producing over 136,000 megawatts. Although dams provide an opportunity to store water, produce energy, and prevent flooding, they do unquestionably impact our environment. They disrupt the natural flow of aquatic life, sediment, and nutrients. If you live upriver, you may have a picturesque view of a beautiful reservoir that may be used for recreation. If you live downriver, you may see the river's reduced flow and the built dam infrastructure. We see these impacts daily along our river's frontage due to the 3 existing energy-producing dams. While these issues are not unique to York County, it's safe to say that we have our fair share of dams, produce a fair share of energy, and deal with our fair share of environmental impacts as a result, and suffer the opportunity and costs of hosting these existing power-generating dams. Often overlooked in proposals such as this one are the fundamental building blocks of our community's land use. It sets the stage for how and what we develop and what we preserve, and the delicate balance between the two. If done strategically, we can manage development in a way that complements and preserves our open space, open space that is a critical decision maker for the purchase of homes, location of businesses, property values, and return on investment. Given there is no real local oversight to the decision to permit this dam's construction, it may fly in the face of our locally adopted comprehensive plan, a plan that is required by the county to complete by the state government. The Cuffs Run project is really about a question of balancing the need for power generation and protecting the environment. Both coexist for communities to thrive economically and must be approached strategically and judiciously for future generations to have the same benefits that we enjoy today. Your county government is responsible for setting the plan for land use in the county's comprehensive plan, covering a 911 square mile of geography. This is our policy plan for both growth and preservation. Specifically, it identifies this area as rich in farmland and natural features that are irreplaceable. Our open space is vital to our success and is recognized in the policy decisions by county government. Through the county's Agricultural Land Preservation Department, 7 conservation easements have been placed on farms with prime farmland. And in collaboration with our colleagues at the Farm and Natural Land Trust, an additional easement has been placed on land with unique natural characteristics. These easements cover 191 acres, and 14% of the area are in the project's condemnation footprint. This project would flood these properties for the reservoir, and the land preservation benefits would be lost forever. This is not the only area of the county being proposed for renewable energy. We've seen an increase in other types of renewable energy projects that are market-driven and are developed with the participation of the landowner. More specifically, there are several utility-scale solar projects under construction. These projects are consistent with the county's land use policy and are based upon a financial agreement between the property owners and the development company, not based on condemnation. At the end of the agreement, there's an opportunity to reclaim the land and return it to its original use. These offer similar energy generation and provide better land use outcomes for the property owner and the community compared to the Cuffs Run proposal. Additionally, both Muddy Run Pump Storage Facility and Peach Bottom Nuclear Power Plant also provide clean energy to the region. The energy produced by Peach Bottom supports nearly 2 million residents. We are doing our part to protect and preserve open space. We are also doing our part to produce energy for the benefit of all, utilizing our local resources and impacting our natural environment. I fully recognize the need to develop alternate energy production mechanisms. However, I urge the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to keep your county's concerns, current production, and existing impact at the forefront of their minds when evaluating this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. It is really an important point. I don't think any of us are opposed to new energy projects, but I think I heard the commissioner say we're doing pretty damn well already generating energy, more than enough energy in our area for what we use. Our next speaker has been a real leader, as I mentioned, on this issue. She joined with other community partners in opposing this project from the very start. And by the way, she's also doing an excellent job representing York County in Harrisburg as the Majority Caucus Chair. So I want to thank her for all that she does. So next, I'd like to introduce State Senator Kristin Phillips-Hill, who represents the 28th State Senatorial District.
Good morning. Talk out of this one. I'm a little taller than the other speakers. Congressman, thank you for taking on this mantle of leadership, bringing us all together. And to my colleagues from across York and Lancaster counties, I am so grateful that you are here today. And to the media, thank you for covering this event that will impact the lives and the livelihoods of so many York Countyans. Since last summer, I have been working with so many of our local farmers, environmental groups, and nonprofits dedicated to preserving and protecting the Susquehanna River to oppose this horrendous project. But why are we here today having to say this. It is because people outside of York County think it's a great idea to throw a massive pump storage facility that would be bigger than the Chesapeake Bay Bridge right in our own backyard. And let me be clear, it is the failed policies of the state of Maryland that is driving this atrocity. And we have had enough. Maryland is not green. Maryland is irresponsible. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation sued the Environmental Protection Agency, alleging that Pennsylvania does not do its fair share to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. They put a massive target on our farmers. And we now, thanks to the county, have the data to prove that York County, and more specifically York County farmers, are not polluting the bay. But it's really rich, coming from a state that consumes more electricity than it generates. In its rush to be green and carbon-free by some arbitrary deadline, Maryland will be shutting down a power plant that generates reliable electricity for the people of Baltimore. According to the latest information from the Pennsylvania Independent Fiscal Office, Pennsylvania produces 81% more energy than it consumes. Let me repeat that. 81% more energy than it consumes. Maryland is a net importer of energy, and that amount is only going to grow. In a little more than a year from now, the Brandon Shores plant will be deactivated as part of a settlement agreement between the Sierra Club and Talon Energy. It is frightening to think that an environmental group that does not disclose its donors can have the ability to shut down a power plant. This is not only a concern from a grid reliability perspective, it's a national security concern as well. And where do some developers who live 2 hours away set their targets to address grid reliability concerns due to negligence by politicians south of the Mason-Dixon line? Well, they're looking at York County. Specifically, the target is on York County farmers and groups dedicated to preserving and protecting our incredible natural resources. Now, we've seen this playbook before. Holier than thou politicians in Maryland are going to gripe about pollution and the need to be green. It's easy to complain when you don't have to give up anything in your own community. And they do it to the detriment and devastation of pristine, multi-generational farmland that cannot simply be taken anywhere else. They do it to the detriment of historical sites and recreational sites that would be underwater, lost forever. The significant investments and preservation efforts that have gone into this part of York County will literally be underwater, simply because our hypocritical neighbors to the south continue to be a major drain on our electric grid. Again, I want to be crystal clear. Maryland is not green. Maryland is irresponsible. And we are here today, all of us, united as Lancaster and York Countyans, united in a resounding no. We are saying no to out-of-town developers from Berks County. We are saying no to misguided energy policies from out-of-state politicians. And if the developers think that this project is such a great idea, propose it in your own backyard. Or better yet, if our friends in Maryland who would be the only beneficiaries of this project need it, as the developers have alleged, maybe they should identify a location for this facility in Maryland. As noted, York County does more than enough to generate power for Marylanders, to grow food for Marylanders. And I have to tell you, this is a very welcoming community. But to the wealthy developers behind this project from Reading, we are saying, you are not welcome here. Go somewhere else. We stand united in our opposition to this project, and we stand united in support of our environmental, agricultural, and historical treasures. And most importantly, we stand united in support of the people of Southern York County. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next we have Wendy Fink, a state representative who represents the Cuffs Run, this area in question. And she's certainly making an impact in Harrisburg as well, no question about that. And I'd like to thank her as well. We share a district office in Red Lion, and so always appreciate the opportunity to serve our constituents together. So join me in welcoming Wendy Fink of the 94th State House District.
Thank you, Congressman, for gathering us together to speak on this project. So the previous speakers have outlined the project proposed for Chanceburg Township. Since FERC has begun the approval process of this permit, I've received many phone calls and emails and have multiple conversations with constituents who oppose this project. As Commissioner Wheeler and the Senator has stated, York County has done its fair share of energy projects. This particular project would affect dozens of family farms and destroy the lives of people who have lived here for generations. I stand here today alongside my constituents strongly opposing this project. The United States has lost over 11 million acres of farmland over the last 2 decades due to development. This trend of converting, fragmenting, or new development projects, especially by eminent domain, is threatening the integrity of our local food supply. We must be supporting our local farmers, not closing down their farms. This is exceptional farmland. Many other places would suffice to build a hydroelectric pump storage station that would not destroy thousands of acres of exceptional land. With the decline of farms, we cannot afford to attack and shut down these needed family farms. Many people have made their reasons known for opposition of this project since we began the public comment period of this approval process. Today, I stand here with them, declaring my strong opposition as well. I say no to this opposed project as we stand united. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And as I mentioned before, this is important to both York and Lancaster County. And so next we have the President Commissioner from York County, Josh Parsons. And I want to mention, what did I say? What did I say? Oh, York County. Did I say York? Okay, all right. I do want to say, I'm really grateful for the leadership by the commissioners in both counties. And I already mentioned, I think Julie Wheeler and the entire board's doing a fabulous job in York County. And these guys, Ray's here as well. And I don't know if Alice has made it yet. She'll be new joining them in Lancaster County. I'll get this right. But Josh is doing a wonderful job as well, along with Ray. And we appreciate their leadership. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate your leadership on this and many issues, and maybe I can be a nominal York County Commissioner. We don't get to leave Lancaster County too much, but when we do, we're glad that we have a beautiful view of Lancaster County behind us. And so on behalf of my colleague Ray and Alice, I don't know if she's here, but she said she's going to be coming. She's going to be a little late. We want to add our support to the effort and lend our support to Lancaster County. Since I've been on to York County, since I've been on the board for 8 years, one of our focuses has been preserving what makes Lancaster County and central Pennsylvania so special. And a lot of that has to do with our both outdoor economy and outdoor recreation. And whether that be farmland preservation, which has been a focus of ours and a focus of County Commissioner boards for many years. We're the #1 county in the nation for farmland preservation. It's been very, very important for Lancaster County, together with county government and our partners in the Farmland Trust. And we've also tried to increase our focus on forest land preservation as well. So together with county government and the Conservancy, who are represented here today, we've had a big focus on that. And then we were also big supporters of the Susquehanna National Heritage Area. We appreciate Congressman Smucker's work on that and others who are here today. And that has been a huge benefit to our whole county and towns like Columbia and Marietta as they see the increase in outdoor recreation economy as it grows with the rail trails and with people visiting and kayaking. And those things are under threat when we see an effort to come in from an outside group and potentially take land, including land that has been secured through easements for preserved farms that are supposed to last in perpetuity. And the potential to take that by eminent domain is a threat not just to York County, but other places that have preserved farms. So we stand today here unified with our colleagues in York, and we'll continue to speak out on this issue. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I should mention the other, Scott Burford is another commissioner from York County who could not be here but is supporting this project as well. And of course, Doug Hoke, who I introduced earlier, actually has served on the board of the Conservancy for quite some time, so it's been engaged in preserving these natural lands for a while, and so has a special voice in this project as well, and I appreciate that. With that, I do want to thank the Lancaster Conservancy. This organization is based in Lancaster, but is preserving lands on both sides and managing lands on both sides of the river. And I'd like to thank Fritz Schroeder for his leadership in opposing this project. He helped put all of this together. And I want to thank them for the work they do to support the natural beauty and provide that to our communities. And so I'd like to introduce Fritz, who's President and CEO of the Conservancy, to say a few words as well.
Good morning. The Lancaster Conservancy stands with our partners, these elected officials, and most importantly, the families that could lose their homes in opposition to the proposed pump storage facility. We stand here in the federally designated Susquehanna National Heritage Area and the state-designated Susquehanna Riverlands Conservation Landscape. Well over $100 million have been invested to transform this river corridor. This is a region of historic, cultural, and natural significance. The beautiful Cuffs Run is located in a particularly remote stretch of this exceptional natural landscape that, if protected, will continue to offer ecological and economic opportunities for our community that far outstrip any short-term extractive gains. The proposal conflicts with the efforts to protect remaining forests, open space, farmland, and recreation areas along the river. The ecology of this site is remarkable, consisting of unusual river bluffs, wooded slopes, waterfalls, and rock formations that offer refuge to unique animal, insect, and plant life. The Conservancy takes the long view. We need to look beyond the immediate gains of a few people. Along with our partners, the Susquehanna National Heritage Area, the Lower Susquehanna Riverkeeper, and the Farm and Natural Lands Trust of York County, along with the Cuffs Run Alliance, we will continue to oppose this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Fritz. So again, thanks to everyone for being here. I think you heard it loud and clear. And collectively, this group represents every citizen in Lancaster and York counties, and we stand opposed to this project. We want the individuals thinking about doing this project to understand there will be strong public opposition, and we will do everything that we can to stop this project, pressure on FERC, whatever it may be. So we think it'd be a good time to abandon plans for it right at this moment. There is no sense in going forward to this project. We intend to stop it. It's not the right thing for our community. So with that, if there are any questions, we're happy to take questions. You all, the speakers, want to come on up here with me? They don't want to, but come on up anyway. Yeah. And in fact, questions can be directed to any of the legislators in the area as well. Yes, Barbara?
You talked about it seems like one of the
Sure. You know, we talked about it a little. We had a little breakfast with all of the elected officials here prior to this. And I don't know that that has happened before, where we've had folks from York and Lancaster County together in opposition or in support of any thing like this, where we've all been together in the same room. And I think it's wonderful. And I mentioned earlier, you know, we will oppose each other in elections, in general elections, and even in primaries. But at the end of the day, when we can come together, we should. And on a project like this, all of us understand the impact on the community. And so all of us understand that, you know, again, we oppose each other sometimes in primaries and elections, but I have a tremendous respect for every individual here who has been elected to be the voice of their district. They've sacrificed their time and their families' times to serve, and we all collectively are grateful for I'm certainly grateful for an opportunity when we can come together and stand together to do something that's the right thing for our communities. Yeah.
So I think what's important to note is, pardon me, the Pennsylvania Independent Fiscal Office does a report on what's happening in our energy sector within the PJM grid. The last report that was issued in March of 2023 indicated that Pennsylvania produces 81% more energy than it consumes. Maryland currently produces 25% less energy than it consumes. With the anticipated closure of the Brandon Shores plant, as a result of that settlement between Talon Energy and the Sierra Club, we anticipate that that number will move upwards to, they will be producing 40% less energy than they consume. And it's interesting to note, Maryland has an adequate public facilities ordinance law. That law says you need to make sure that you have enough roads, you have enough seats in classrooms in schools, that you have enough water and wastewater treatment facilities, that you have enough parks. Maryland never contemplates, do you have enough energy? And these projects that we have seen time and again here in York County, that, as noted by the commissioner, produces more than its fair share of energy, are really being driven by the failed policies of politicians in Maryland.
So to add to what Senator Phillips-Hill said, as I mentioned in my remarks, we already have 3 hydroelectric generating plants in our community that generate 136,000 megawatts of energy. In addition, we have the Peach Bottom Nuclear Power Plant that serves over 2 million residents in our community. So we believe we have our fair share of energy, we've polluted our fair share of natural resources, and it's time for Maryland to look elsewhere for those resources.
Can you comment, please, that this is not an energy producer? This uses more energy than it produces. This is not an energy producing facility.
You want to come up and say?
No, we haven't.
Go ahead.
So Representative Jones made a good point. It's interesting to note that this facility requires a pumping of water into that reservoir. When they release that water, because this is really just a big battery for peak demand in Baltimore and the Washington, D.C. suburbs, they'll only generate 80% of the energy that they consumed pumping that water into the reservoir. So this is meant for peak demand, and it will actually generate less energy than it consumes.
I realize you're not going to negotiate against yourself, but is there some smaller version of this that would be less disruptive, or can this just not?
I mean, I think the commissioner said it well. I don't think any of us are opposed to new energy projects. We understand the need for energy. But by God, we're doing our fair share here. Like, we already have 3 dams between the 2 counties. We think we're doing our fair share. I don't know those.
They don't pump water up?
Yeah, They do. I just don't know the figures, but they don't pump water up like this one would be, so that it's using the natural flow of the river. So I think the ratio of energy produced compared to energy consumed would be higher, but I don't have those figures offhand. We can get it for you.
Yes.
Has there been any conversations with Mr. McMahon or anyone else from the company proposing this project? I mean, I don't know if it's service to anyone. I mean, are they receptive to any of these concerns?
We haven't heard from
We've reached out directly to him. He never returned our calls.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
everyone
you.
being here.